If you're facing a challenge in your life right now, whether that's your business, your money, your relationships, your career, something that feels like it's a door that you cannot break through, this video is going to be for you. This is going to be my lived experience and what I'm constantly walking through as I navigate my own versions of lifing, right? I had the download to speak to this because although two realities always exist, right? You see the world and all these things happening in the negative, which often gets pushed in the media, which I believe has a hand in why certain things play out the way they do. Just go back and look at the Great Depression. That energy, everyone tacking on to this message, exacerbates or speeds up a reality that doesn't have to be so if we weren't so quick to jump on the bandwagon, which I think is often the assignment of some of these things. That could be a whole separate conversation that we can have about that. But at the core of it, I want you to be reminded that even in uncertain seasons, you still maintain the power. You still have the value that is needed in these spaces. So you get to choose what you attach to. This is one thing that a mentor really illuminated for me. It's something that I've lived already in my life. Like I can look back in situations where my success was literally me going opposite of what people were saying and tying myself to a vision that I believed in and that I knew that could happen for me despite what other people were doing. So it's a part of my lived experience. She just gave language to this, that whatever you decide to anchor yourself to is ultimately going to be your reality. There are people that are struggling right now, but there are people that are doing amazing. I saw a post on Threads recently from someone, and she said, most people won't admit it, but 2025 was a bad year. And I'm like, in that person's perspective, like that's valid. That is your experience. That is real, true numbers. But for you, because I know people who 2025 was their best year yet, right? So that I think that we should have so much gratitude over that being the case, because God is no respecter of person. So that means if the worst year for someone can be the best year for someone else, that means at any point we can attach ourselves to that reality. Everything isn't always this mental or spiritual battle where it's like, if you think your way into this, then you can achieve it. No, there are actual things that happen externally that might take you off track. But make no mistake that even as those things are happening, you still have a level of control. I would like to submit to you, and if you don't agree, that's okay, that there's a larger part of internal forces that play a part in what we receive than external. External becomes the influence, and you can either surrender over to that influence or look for the opportunity and surrender over to that. Let me say it like this. I know someone else right now in the online business world. There are so many things that people latch onto. I mean, people telling you just not to be in business, that everything is bad, that you shouldn't be selling this and you shouldn't be selling that. And if you attach to those messages, that's the influence. And if you continue to believe it, you continue to watch it, you continue to read it, you continue to act as if that is true. I have to check my own self on this, just being in the space and consuming. Nobody's above it. You still have to work the muscle in order to challenge yourself to go beyond these things. But the awareness is key. So that message is one message. But then you see people, like I'm about to mention this person that I'm talking about, that has just sold out her mastermind, did a 5-day challenge. And for those of you who may not be, familiar with the online world or the online business world, a lot of people right now are saying these things aren't working. I even stopped myself from going into a mastermind model because I'm like, I don't know. That might be too much. That might be overdone right now. I felt like it was something that wasn't aligned for what I was wanting to do. But if I'm honest, a part of that also came from this rhetoric that I was accepting. Most people won't admit that. Now, yes, it could be a hard year, but can you admit that a part of it being a hard year, a part of why you didn't do what you thought you should do, a part of why you didn't go after the opportunity was also because you believed somewhere in you that it was impossible or that it wouldn't work? That's the truth that we need to have. Because in that, we become powerful. We reclaim our power in the situation by saying, you know what? Yes, the economy is this and that. Yes, I work with clients who had government contracts, and when the administration was taking over, all this stuff happened. They lost contracts. Absolutely. That is valid. But still, you have a level of control to take that situation and continue to create value for yourself. Be real and say, I allowed that situation to stop me from getting more creative and understanding what is the need now. You know, one thing that I'm adopting that has been marinating over the years, I can finally put language to it, that opportunity never goes away. It moves. So when the dollars in Washington were canceled, the way that we could look at that is, where did it move? How do I align? That's what the smart people do. You lose in the stock market. You don't just say, oh, I quit. I'm not getting into stocks anymore. It's just not for me. Oh, I lost the money. Let me just lay down and say the economy is bad. No. Okay, this industry isn't doing well. Where is the money moving? Because in this capitalist society, in this economy, the money moves. It's not eliminated. And the people that win are the ones who know how to adapt. The people who win are the ones that know that they always hold the value, that there is no AI system, there's no platform, there's no job, there is no business model that holds the opportunity. I am the opportunity. So wherever I go is where the opportunity is. That's one thing that I have embodied even in my career when I decided to switch from sales into marketing. What is my value? This is the vision that I have. This is where I want to go. How can I now take that and marry that with the value that the market sees right now? Position myself there, even in business. It's a constant exercise. People who are flexible in that nature, you got to build that muscle to be flexible in that nature, not to just be so committed, so holding on tight to the vision that you see, but understand when opportunity arises and how to jump on that, how to package and position yourself for that. Working with corporations is a way to build that muscle of being able to package yourself in different ways. And if you want to learn more about how to do that, if you want to get some more support with that, definitely check the link in the comments and let's book a call to have a conversation about what is your lived experience? What is your expertise? What is the thing that you are evangelizing right now that you may only be using in one context, one way of doing business, one way of doing your career, but actually it has a whole nother level of value in these spaces where you don't have to change, shape shift, conform, do things that are outside of your values, but all you need to do is learn how to speak about what you do to be of value in these spaces. I was on a mastermind call yesterday, and our mentor just casually said, this is the season where you don't need to spend thousands of dollars to hire a coder or a IT person to create an app for you. And she was like, I don't know what that means for the people who've spent their career in tech and designing these things. And my mind was just like, ooh, that's so good. That's like the blockbuster Netflix effect. You're so stuck on the only way and it being done here, but that you're not keeping your ear and your eye open to where the world is moving forward. If you're a person that built apps in the past and now they have AI to build apps, what is your value? Because you're always going to have a pocket, a window where you can take that value. Maybe you are the person that's teaching on how to use these applications. Maybe you are building your own AI application to build the apps. Woo! Somebody take that, because that's real good. If you built apps for people before, now people are moving to use these platforms. Why don't you design a platform? Get aligned. Blockbuster. You see people getting on the internet. Figure out how to take your stuff on the internet. Because the more you try to hold on and say, like in that IT example, oh, well, apps can't build like, a person can. Or they may be saying like, yeah, an app is good, but it won't get you everything that you need. And I don't know the terminology now. I worked in tech, but I'm not technical. Let's keep that clear. Whatever the terminology is that would value a person, yes, that's great for you. That is valid. But in the minds of buyers, if they feel and see that doing an app is faster, yeah, they may not be able to get everything that you could do. But if it's functional enough for what they need, they're going to latch on to that opportunity. Your mind needs to go there. What's the market? What's the value? What's the customer saying right now? Just go there. Don't cry about it. Oh, people don't understand. Oh, people don't And then you create this whole brand, making it, important to why they should not do that and hire you. You might get a few people who value that, but you're losing a lot of people who's in that space right now and saying, you know what? If I can just get it done in 5 minutes, I'm just going to get on the app. What you going to be? Learning that skill set, being willing to do that, being willing to get in the spaces, being willing to look crazy, to master yourself. That's what I'm writing about in my book, The Enemy Is You. My second book coming out is how do you master yourself? How do you get out of your own way so that these opportunities are not just thoughts, that you actually move yourself forward to see them through? That you jump on opportunity, that you package what you have, that you get in the rooms, that you know how to talk about it, that you send the emails. The amount of people saying that fear has stopped them is enough for me to continue this work until the end of time, because you're not going to be over here scared. You're not going to be over here saying that you don't have the value. You're not going to be over here saying that the things that you've done in the past aren't valuable because you don't have a degree. No, ma'am. No, sir. You are the prize. You are the opportunity. You don't need a seat at the table. You create your seat at the table, because you think of yourself as a business. You think of yourself as an organization or as an entity. Removing the emotional side. This is so good, because if I had better language for this, I think it just would have moved me a lot faster. But of course, the time is now to understand this. But if you can remove the emotional side of who you are and really just treat yourself like a business. I think athletes especially do this well. Athletes, entertainers, there's like the entertainer person that they step into, and then there's their regular at home with their kids doing their thing, right? An actress persona, and then there's your regular, person. I think that is so good. And here's a book recommendation that my friend and I read for our book club. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. So good. And it's in alignment with what I'm saying now, by Todd Herman, I think his name is, The Alter Ego Effect. Definitely check that out. But having the ability to move in these different personas is so valuable, because if you can see yourself, you can drop. So your regular person is the person who carries all the things, which I have another topic on how you need to drop some of that trauma and those things that you're carrying. But your regular person is carrying these things, these emotions, these experiences, the things that you're playing over in your head, right? That's not the person that needs to go into business. When you step at your desk, you should be looking at who you are as a business objectively. What is the SWOT analysis? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats to Kirsten Allen Incorporated. not Kirsten Allen that I've been with for over 30 years. Kirsten Allen, the business. That shift is totally different. Because in that, I'm not negotiating based upon my fears and insecurities. I'm negotiating based upon the value that I've created in my brand. My conviction comes from the value, the physical value that I've created in designing this brand. It's not emotional. It's not subjective. This is the value that I have on paper. Now I'm not short-sighted. Now I'm not shortcutting myself. Now I'm not playing myself because I literally have the receipts. That'll be my challenge to you. Whether you're going after corporate opportunities, whether you're seeking something new, I need you to put what assets do you own as an individual on paper so you can see it, so you can negotiate from that, so you can apply, so you can pitch from that. Some of us are pitching or applying from stories in our childhood that keep us broken, and that is why we are giving our power away. Stop pitching from the little girl. Stop pitching from the little boy that was hurt that one time because they rejected you. No, set it aside. Get into the alter ego if you need to be. Look at what's on paper. Look at what value you have. Remember that you hold the value. It's something about being in that space where opportunities are just attracted to you. When you are in lack, when you are believing nobody looks at me or nobody cares about me, I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know why I keep getting rejected. Retool. Stop sending the same resume. Stop sending the same application. Stop pitching the same target audience. Retool. I have to do this for myself. I am not a master over this. This is what I know and live by and have to continue to practice for myself and get mentored on to keep myself on track. Retool. Because you have the value. Where's the space? Step into these opportunities like you. One thing that I'm saying to myself and affirming to myself in this season is that I expect the best and I receive better. It's new, but it's taking real root inside. I expect the best and I receive better. This is coming from someone who has felt like, I just need to prepare for the worst. Again, that is the little girl inside saying prepare for the worst because you've been hurt before. And then if it works out, you'll be even more excited. Okay, that served me for a season, but I'm looking for some astronomical things to be birthed in my life, to bear fruit in my life. So my belief has to be at that level to receive the vision that has been given to me. My belief cannot be down here because then my results may only be here. My belief needs to be way up here so that my results can exceed, that even if it doesn't necessarily work out the way that I saw it, it doesn't hit my belief because my belief is not in myself and my own abilities. It is in the God that I serve and the skill sets that he's gave me to create value for myself. It's in Deuteronomy 8:18. That's what my belief is in. So that's not about what I can see in front of me. Transparently, my husband and I were having this conversation about how to navigate or stay in this space of abundance, even if you cannot see it in the physical yet. Even if you're facing challenges, how can you still move through it with this mindset and this ability? And it's been something that I've been working on, that I've been coached on and mentored myself, that I am now bringing into other areas of my life of like, we've got to get in this space where what we believe is so high, we just believe it whether we see it now or not. That my belief is not conditional. My belief is absolute. That I would be willing to leave the earth and still be holding the belief in my hand. That level of commitment. So even if you can't see it, even if it seems like everything is being shown, you might have just got a rejection letter, or maybe someone said no, like That stuff need to be stuff that, like John Hope Bryant says, you just need to eat that for breakfast. Those need to just bounce, like I'm rubber, you're glue. They just need to bounce right off of you. Not saying they don't hurt, they don't sting. Yes. But stop allowing them to now dictate the story. Don't allow them to shake your belief. Shake it off. Go again. Retool. Don't keep doing the same things that aren't working. Retool. Commit. Hold yourself at a higher standard. Hold your belief at a higher standard in this season. I don't care if you got $1 in your account right now. You still have the power to keep your belief held at a high standard. And it's even easier to do that now because you don't only have your story as evidence. Remember that. You have seen others. You have seen people with far worse circumstances who have gotten out of it. One thing that I'm on is my debt-free journey. And I look at my numbers, I'm like, oh my gosh. But then I see somebody who was in 6 figures of debt and then got out of it. And I said, oh, if they got out of that, then I think Mel Robbins says in her book, they were in like $800,000 of debt and she got out of it. Okay. So if she was able to do that, I know I can get out of my debt. I know I can get my finances back on track as far as my goals and the visions that I have. I know it. So I don't have to base it on what I see when I open up my student loan account. I don't have to base it on what I see when I open my Credit Karma account. Yeah, I see it. But I know that I have dominion over this. I know that I have the abilities, the tools, the intellect, the talent, the opportunities that if I just lock in, I'm good. He allowed me to go to the school, so somehow he's going to allow me to have the provision to take care of it. He's given me the ability that far exceeds any credit card balance that I may have. What? I'm not going to let that punk me. I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm not going to let that embarrass me. I'm going to do what I need to do to handle it. And no is going to stop me from doing that. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep going, not with this is the last thing on this, not with the desire to take care of my situation. That's another thing we were talking about, like disconnecting this idea that it's like, oh, I have to do this because I have to, X, Y, and Z, or this is happening, that's happening. Here are the goals that we have. Here are the financial goals we have to have. So we got to da. No. Or maybe you're sitting in a situation where you're looking for jobs. Well, I got to make something happen. Yes and no. Yes, and detach from that. Yes, that exists. But if you live in that way, and I've done this is why I know it's not helpful. It just causes more stress on you to just focus on that. If you can just set that aside and just step into your infinite human being side connected to the source when you're doing your work. I have financial goals, and I've said this even last year. I could have made a lot more money if I would have took opportunities that I knew weren't aligned. Make no mistake, I still know that I hold the value and I get to be selective about what I do and what I do in exchange for that value. My goals, my desires do not dictate me or my actions. I set those things aside. And when I'm in my work, my mind is, I already have $100 million in my account. What would I do? They ask this question all the time in personal development. Like, what would you do if you already had, what you needed? If what you needed was taken care of, you had an abundance, how would you behave? And that's what I seek to embody, so that I'm not taking on things due to lack. I'm not attaching myself because I feel like I got to create these things. No. If I had this situation and everything was taken care of, how would I act? If I had $100 million, would I let somebody into my program or work with me to get on my nerves? No. Or that's not going to do the work? No. Or that's going to default after the first payment? No. Why would I ever do that? So that's how I act. If I was applying to jobs, would I take a job that clearly has a toxic culture? No. And sometimes we feel like, whoa, we got to get the thing because the bills are happening. Da, da. And I just challenge you. You got to do what you got to do. But I challenge you to adopt that mindset of like, if I already had what I desired, would I accept this? And just check in with yourself. I think the awareness is key. Even if you're not ready to do something with it, just that awareness is key. If I already had it, would I do this? Somebody's trying to lowball you with an offer, and you, in your mind, lack is saying take it because you don't have anything. But then ask yourself, if I already had something and I was just pursuing this opportunity just because I desired to, not because I needed to, would I accept this? No. So maybe at that point, there's many different options. It don't mean that you just have to shut the door and don't take it. Maybe you negotiate differently. Maybe you say, okay, well, if you can't do this, then this is what needs to happen. There are many different ways that answers can resurface or be bubbled up to the surface if you're just truly honest and answering from a place of abundance. Lack is always going to tell you a lie. Lack is always going to tell you that you have to because of this. Lack is a liar. Somebody put that in the comments if you're still here. Lack is a liar. Abundance is truth. And it's available no matter what situation or season you're in, even if you on a corner, which you're not if you're watching this, but even if a person is on the corner with a sign, you have the ability because you're here. You are an infinite creative human being. There is opportunity. When you give it away, when you align with lack, that's when your power goes right on with it. And until you reclaim it, the situation might change slightly. You know, we have wins, but you won't be in full power to really create and be all that you can be until you reclaim that power and keep it. Not that sometimes it doesn't come out of your hands or sometimes it doesn't go away. Bring it back and keep it. If you got to the end of this video, go ahead and comment, I made it. I want to see who is making it to the end. Go ahead and subscribe, like this video if you appreciate these conversations and tactical conversations about getting into the space, but really about this breaking of the chains so that more people can achieve and do the things they're called to do. There's so many inventions. There's so many ideas that are backed by the brains of people who need to be brought forth and get out of your own way so that it can be birthed. That's what we talk about over here. So if that's you, make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.